Our report today is about witchcraft, hexes, delusions, and fog that Satan has put over the whole world to bring in, to be able to tell you a lie and everyone do what Satan says, shows how much people are controlled by a lie. So I want to go through what the scripture says on witchcraft and Pharmakeia, which is sorcery that you have put over yourself and you've allowed yourself to be controlled by Mystery Babylon, the whore, the harlot, the Jesuits, the United Nations. If you look into the United Nations, you will see that they started as the Lucifer, now all of a sudden my mind went blank, but the Lucifer Trust, Lucis Trust, and it was first called the Lucifer Trust, I think. Look it up. You can prove me wrong. You can write a comment. You can write your nasty comment like someone did last time, because I don't have it all written out. I don't have a script. We don't need a script. People need to be patient and listen to what the word says, and we're not going to be on a teleprompter, which is these hexes that they put on you through television. They're giving you the vision through the television. They're putting you under Pharmakeia, sorcery, a hex, to tell you from Pharmakeia, which is the medical system, to tell you that there's a virus. You must be controlled. Everyone in the world must give their freedom up. So what does Revelation say about what is the prophecy that we need to know about to see where we're at in time? Okay. Revelation 17:12 says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings." So the number 10 is universal. So it's the whole world, all the kingdoms which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So what is happening right here is all the kings, the nations, are agreeing to this hoax of the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control. Listen to those words. By disease, they will control you. You think it means something else, but they're putting it right out there. Center for Disease Control. They're controlling you by a disease. And then they give you these fake numbers and they tell you that the whole world has a virus, which really they just have common illnesses, and it's older people that are falling prey, and they'll just mark it, oh, well, you don't just have diabetes, heart, whatever, and this. Yeah, we're going to say you qualify. You are now coronavirus victim. And we'll put it down in the paper so that we can give these numbers to the CDC so that we can control you. We can control you with our sorcery. We can control you with our words, our hexes, our scripts, our prescription. We're going to prescribe you. And when you prescribe somebody, if you look it up in the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, it's saying it's dooming you to destruction. So every time you go to a doctor through Obamacare that you signed up for, or whatever insurance that you have, they will prescribe you, which means you're a danger, or you're falling down, you're dilapidated, whatever. That's a prescription. It's telling you, you have this disease, which really, you can go in there and you can be sick, and they should tell you, hey, you're eating too much sugar. It's causing you to this, that, or the other. But they don't do that. You're smoking too much, so it's causing you to this, that, or the other. Go home and stop smoking. Or, you know what, you're drinking fluoridated water, your brain's going out. But they don't do that. They lie to you and they prescribe you to death. Okay? So, what I want to say today is Pharmakeia, sorcery is throughout the land. This land that the Creator made for us to live in, the Yahshua, the YHWH, that W is the Shah sound, which means king. So, where does that bring us? Why is it, if you look in their documents in 2012, they were saying that there's going to be a virus that brings everybody down, and they were calling it SARS Corona. So SARS, if you want to know what that means, it means king. A czar is a king, okay? Then you look at Corona. Corona is from the same sound. The S, the SH, the K, they're all the same when you look at language. So now you have the C-O-R, Rona virus. So that's this kingdom that Satan's trying to put everybody under his satanic hex, brain fog, do what I say, become prisoners in your own home, don't touch people, which you know you need to be giving hugs. Don't touch people, don't be 6 feet, no more than 2 people in Germany and in the Netherlands or some other place. They can't be more than 2 people. What if you have children? What if you're a family of 9? This is all ridiculous. He's putting everybody under these constraints, a prisoner in your own home. And countries, and even here in the United States, people are fleeing the prison. So the prisoners are getting out, those who have broken laws, but the people are being imprisoned. And it's a mental prison. If you are mentally imprisoned, you can't move. You're paralyzed. Okay, let's go to Galatians 5, 19, 20, and 21. Okay, so now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness. Now, uncleanness is actually what, if you take in a toxin, you're unclean. If you take in feces because you didn't wipe your hands, you're unclean. If you touch a dead body, you're unclean. So, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft. The Bible's talking about witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, and heresies. Heresies from Yah, okay? Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelries, and such the like, of which I tell you before, as I've told you in the time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yah. So this is the time where we're at. The kingdom's about to go over the whole earth. And when we say about, we mean considering 6,000 years, we're at this last part where Yah's kingdom is about to be set up. And we can go to Daniel 2, which will tell us about the kingdom that is going to be set up in these last days, which we are living in a time where there's going to be a transition to the Yah's kingdom, but he will not let anyone in there who is unclean, or who is all these things I just read, who have witchcraft, idolatry, etc. Let's go to Daniel 2. And folks, for those of you who say I need to write it down, I'm going to tell you that the Holy Spirit leads us into all truth. So if we write our own ideas down and then the Holy Spirit's trying to tell us something, you go with the Spirit, folks. And you don't worry about all the naysayers in the comments or wherever they are. Those people who are in Satan's kingdom will do anything to mock you or murmur. Okay. Daniel 2. It says, then was the secret. Okay, let's go to 18. So Daniel goes to the king because the king had a dream. And 18, we'll just start there. That they would desire mercies of Yah of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel. So this is a prophecy and a secret that's revealed to Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Yah of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of Yah forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. So when you're afraid of Satan's lie that a virus exists, remember that Yah has wisdom and might. And he changeth the times and the season. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. The way that you get wisdom and understanding from Psalms 119 says, by knowing the law. What law? The law of Moses. So all of you who are stuck on the 10 commandments and you don't know the law of Moses, you don't have wisdom, you don't have understanding. The law is the law of Moses. The words, the pure truth that Yah gave to his people. You can read that in Nehemiah 8 and Nehemiah 9. It's talking about his true law, which is the law of Moses. So we'll continue. That's who he reveals things to, is those who keep his law. Those who keep the 10 commandments are only keeping the testimony, and they don't know what the law is. They're stuck on, they've been programmed that every time they hear the law, they think it means the 10 commandments. That's programming, folks. That's from these false pastors that came into your church and telling you lies. And those pastors come from the Jesuit Catholic Church because they want to do away with Yah's law. They did away with the Sabbath, but they also did away with the law of Moses. Yah's words can never be taken away. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what it is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. So Daniel was given the interpretation of the dream. And this is what it comes down to. He finds out that the dream he had was a great image. And that image was about kingdoms that were going to be on the earth. But it's called the great image. It was a dream. And all the people have been in these kingdoms instead of Yah's kingdom, and they're all faked out. There's a kingdom here on the earth and it belongs to the Yah. Now he's gone away. The Yah went away for a small period of time, because to the Yah, a day with the Yah is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. So for him, he's only not been here for 6 days. So let's go to 33. When we're talking about this image, we're getting down to the iron. You guys need to know your Bibles, or go back and read Daniel too. It says, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like a shaft of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. So there's going to be a stone, and that stone is the 144,000. They're going to hit the image of all these kingdoms, and the last kingdom is the one that's on right now, which is the iron and the clay. So, okay, so it says, and in the days of these kings, we're on 44, and the days of these kings shall the Yah of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation is true. So when you go to Revelation, it's talking about the kings. All these past prophets, they agree. So one prophet can see the end, and so you have John the Revelator seeing what Yah has shown him about these kings, these 10 kings. So the 10 toes are these 10 kingdoms that give their power to the beast for 1 hour. And that is found in Revelation. And let's see. Is it Revelation 17? Yeah. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength to the beast. You see all these nations giving their power over to the United Nations, which is run by the Catholic Church, but they don't want to tell you. They want to keep you under deception. They don't want to tell you that the United Nations is the one that wants to take away your guns. So if they take away your guns, you can't fight them in a war. So they want to take away your implements of war. Okay, so we are in a time where Satan's putting all the nations under him and lying to you. If you tell a really big lie, all the people believe it. And he's put you under Pharmakeia, that you don't know what's happening, and you're following, and you're saying, I got to stay in my house because Satan told me to, through his lie of a virus. Okay, so we read Galatians 5, 19 and 20, where Yah hates witchcraft. And let's go to 1 Samuel 15, 23. I got to tell you, witchcraft is what in the Greek called Pharmakeia. And in our language, that's a pharmacy. Okay? The pharmacies are putting the people under a hex, a spell. And when you're under a spell, you're not under Satan's programming. He's hexed you into believing there's a virus. And so it's through this witchcraft, because that word pharmakeia is witchcraft, that he's putting you in this delusion of that there's a virus and you got to stay inside and you can't touch anybody, you can't kiss anybody, you can't hug anybody because they'll get the virus or you'll get the virus. And so you go to the store and everybody's under this delusion. The only place you can go right now is the stores. All the churches closed down. Why did they close down? Because all the leaders of these churches are part of this New World Order. They are Jesuits. They infiltrated all the churches, and they're telling people whatever the orders from the Catholic Church are, the United Nations, the Jesuits, the Illuminati. They're all together in witchcraft. Hillary Clinton is a known witch. Nancy Pelosi is a known witch. And Schumer looks exactly like a warlock, demonic possession. They all did spirit cooking with Obama. They went to these parties where they were doing these potions and putting blood and all that stuff in there. And they're all pedophiles. That's what witches do. Okay? It's satanic ritual abuse, witchcraft and hexes and spells, and things that they're saying to you are all these lies. 2 Kings 9:22, let's look at that. Maybe my Bible's faster, let's see. Yep, 2 Kings 9:22. Folks, this whole thing is a hex. It's a delusion. It's witchcraft. So it says, and Joram said, make ready. And his chariot was made ready, and Joram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot, and they went out against Jehu, and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. And it came to pass, when Joram saw Jehu, that he said, is it peace? So when they see each other, they're wanting to know, do you come in peace? Is it peace, Jehu? And he answered, what peace? So long as the whoredoms of my mother Jezebel and her witchcrafts are so many. So right now, the witchcraft over the whole United States, over all the nations of this false virus, this hex, this pharmakeia, the medical system is a witchcraft system where everything they do when you come in, they don't solve any problem. They don't even touch you. They don't clean out a wound. They don't do anything except give you a hex, a prescription. And then you take their pharmakeia, and then you're under their witchcraft sorcery, and then you'll do whatever they say, and you say, yes, doctor, thank you, thank you. Burn me, cut out my parts, and chemo me. Radiation, surgery, and chemo. That's the only standard of care when you have cancer. And it's all barbaric. It's a witchcraft on you. And you go, yes, thank you, doctor. Thank you for killing me. Here's $50,000. That shows you're under hex. This whole virus is a hex. If I could say anything, it is a hex. And scientists, look up Stephen Lanka, Dr. Stephen Lanka. He looked into hepatitis, bird flu, SARS, which that's the coronavirus, and he said they were all, none of them, nobody can prove under a microscope that it's a virus. Yes, there's substances there, and what that is the Pharmakeia. They bring in a tail of a rat and a rabbit and put it all in there, and they put in fetuses and whatever, and then they say that's a virus that got in you. And then they say, we need to give you a vaccine. So then they actually give you that, and that's unclean. From the scripture, dead body parts are unclean. So you're now unclean. Now your body has to repel it, excrete it, and during that process, you may get sick or weak until the body releases it. And if you're older, you may not be able to go through that process. So don't take a vaccine. That's witchcraft. Okay, let's go to 2 Chronicles 33:6. You need to know that this whole thing is a hoax. It's amazing to me that people who are supposed to know their Bibles do not know about witchcraft, because they think, oh, well, that was in the past. People don't do witchcraft today. Yeah, they do. They do it at the pharmacy. They mix it all together. They have their potions. They're putting you under a hex so you can't think straight. 2 Chronicles 33:6. We're almost there. And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times and used enchantments. See, singing satanic songs puts you under a hex. And used witchcraft, okay, and dealt with the familiar spirit and with wizards. He wrought much evil in the sight of the Yah to provoke him to anger. This witchcraft that's going on right now, that's the SDA church let their people bring in Pharmakeia into their health program. They say they have the health message. They do not. It's Pharmakeia. And they say, oh, we have all this modern technology. Yeah, vaccines and Pharmakeia. That's old sorcery. There's nothing modern about it. They just put it in a plastic container so it looks modern. Okay, let's go to Micah 5:12. This is what's going to happen in these latter days, that Yah is going to do this. He says so in Micah 5:12. Okay, it's past this. Micah, it's in here. Okay, Micah 5:12 says this. Let's go to 10, because this is telling you what's going to happen. Let's go to 9. Thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. These people are our enemies, because we're the children of Yah, and Satan wants to kill us, and he's using Pharmakeia and hoaxes, lies, to make everybody believe in this. And the Seventh-day Adventist Church, because they confederated with the medical system, their whole churches are under a hex. Thine hand shall be lifted upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. And it shall come to pass in that day, this is talking about the latter day, saith the Yah, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots. So they're not going to be able to do what they do and travel everywhere. It says, and I will cut off the cities of thy land. That's why Ellen G. White said, get out of the cities. And throw down all thy strongholds, and I will cut off witchcrafts. This medical system is going down. This CDC, control through disease, is going down. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. So a soothsayer is somebody who tells you something soothing, which many people don't want to hear the word of the Yah, so they say, stop talking. Stop talking whenever you repeat the word. Why do they do that? They only want soothing words. They say, speak unto us smooth things. That's in Isaiah. I think it's Isaiah 28. Speak unto us smooth things. Soothsayers. So Hollywood is the soothsayers too. When they put a song out by somebody, and it's such a great song and it's so soothing, and you forget and you're under a hex and you believe in the lies of the New World Order, which Satan is crowning himself right. He's right now with this corona, it's his crowning glory that he's put everybody under witchcraft, and they're all doing what he says. Put in a hex, he's given them all Pharmakeia, and he's controlling everybody. Mike Pompeo said that we're in a live exercise, and they're not to use the word quarantine because they use soothing words. They use the word social distancing, and they're not to say FEMA camps, they're to say community centers. These are soothsayers, folks. CDC, that's another word. All their words that they use. Education, no, that was their priming, that was their grooming to get people to, at this point in time, to say that it's okay to be transgender. Well, the pure law, the law of Moses, says that no, man is not to wear that which pertaineth to a man, to a woman, and woman is not to wear that which pertaineth to a man. So right there, transgenders have to wear the other person's clothing. And then it says, man shall not lie with man. So if a man is born a man, he can't change to be a woman. That's confusion. And that's what the law says. So you need to learn the law. If you have anything that you need to say, you need to repeat what our Father says. We're his children. We repeat what he says. And that is the law of Moses. Okay, no more soothsayers. No more saying, well, go ahead and come into our congregations, and this is like a hospital, so everybody can do whatever they want, and then you're going to get healed. No, the Bible says, put ye porters at the gate that no unclean may come in. Don't come in here with all that false doctrine. Don't come here with all that lies and then tell me it's loving. It's not loving to be living a life that is satanic. It's witchcraft. It's soothsayers telling you that. Thy graven image also will I cut off, and thy standing images. So the SDA church has standing images at their headquarters. So it says, thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands, and I will destroy thy cities. So get out of the cities, folks. Even if you're just outside of the city, it's so different than being in the city. Okay, so Nahum 3:4, let's go there. It's the next book over. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. Who's the well-favored harlot? Well, let's read verse 3:1. Woe to the bloody city, it is all full of lies. Who's the bloody city? The Catholic Church has killed millions upon millions upon millions of people. In fact, many of your relatives, if you would look up your family line, some places they have the names of your parents in a dungeon of the Catholic Church. They kept a very accurate record of those that they killed who wanted to go by the law of Moses and who didn't believe the Catholic Church, so they killed them. So they have their woe to the bloody city, the Catholic Church that doesn't want to tell you their history. I know people that are my friends who don't even know, and they were shocked that I'm talking about the truth about the Catholic Church. So they stopped talking to me. Because the Bible says it's a bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery. They steal your land, folks. They steal your churches, folks. They steal your tithe. When you give tithe to all these Jesuit-infiltrated churches, you're giving it to the Vatican. So they are robbing you, okay? Verse 4, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, everybody loves the harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations. We just got sold off. All that money and all those laws, have brought our nation down to a Venezuela situation, and they sold our nation. Pelosi's a Catholic. All these people, if they don't admit to be a Catholic. She admitted she was a Catholic. The Jesuits infiltrated our government. There is a publication that had like all the figures of how many Jesuits, who the Jesuits were, all the Catholics in our government. Okay, it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. This is the selling of souls, which it talks about in Revelation, that they sell souls. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Yah of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. He's going to reveal. You know when your skirt flies up and everybody sees your underwear? That's what Yah says. He's going to discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. He's about to bring the whole truth before the people. Okay, but what we're talking about is that she does witchcraft, and through all these medical systems that were set up, people really at the beginning of this modern Pharmakeia wouldn't take the stuff. They wouldn't go to these doctors, and so they had to create. So they themselves create an association that the association says, oh yeah, everything's good. So they pay these guys so that these guys will say they're good, and now you believe it. The Pharmakeia, the witchcraft. So Nahum 3:5 is talking about her witchcrafts. So what does the law say about a witch? Let's go to Exodus 22:18. The law says, this is the pure law, the true law that Yah has. It says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So these witches that are in this church, Catholic Church, that have infiltrated your church, they have to die. They gotta go. They gotta get out of here. They're dead. They're about to come to their end. But will they continue for the hour, the prophetic hour? Yeah. And will they cause much grief to the people? Yeah. But his 144,000 will be gathered, because they're going to be saviors upon the land, and they're going to go and they're going to save you. But because there's always a consequence for believing a witch. So you're under all this like control, jails, prison, but Yah's gonna bring, he says the stone hits the image on its feet and it knocks down these kingdoms. The stone is the 144,000. So that's what we have to look forward to, is this 144,000. And all these people on YouTube are calling themselves, I'm one of the 144,000, but they're believing lies. They believe the false doctrine. Then they can't be one of the 144,000, because 144,000 have no guile on their lips, so they do not tell lies. Lying is the biggest thing that will keep you out of Yah's kingdom. Okay, let's go to Acts. Acts 8 and 9 through 11. Let's go to the book of Acts. Okay, this is what Yah's talking about. Witches. Well, you know what? Let's go to Deuteronomy 18. That's my next one. So we got to see what the law says. We just said that witches have to die through Exodus 22:18. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 18. Let's see where it's at. Yah saying, if thou shalt keep all these commandments to do them, not the 10 commandments, the law of Moses are commandments. Okay. The 10 commandments is saying what will happen after you love Yah, that you will never do this, you shall not do that, you shall not do this. So that's the end result of your believing his true law, which is the law of Moses. If thou shalt keep all these commandments to do them which I command thee this day, to love the Yah thy Yil, and to walk ever in his ways. Then shalt thou add 3 cities more. Okay, let's see. I've got the wrong one. Done it again, and that guy's going to put bad comments below. Okay, Deuteronomy 18, 9, 10, 11. When thou art come into the land which the Yah thy Yil giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. We are not going to be doing witchcraft. There shall not be found. You're not going to be putting hexes. You're not going to be saying lies. You're not going to be getting people to be in a haze and in a fog and have this virus. The virus is the hex. The virus is the fog. The virus is believing a lie. You've got the virus when you're believing it. You've got a satanic delusion, and that's the virus. It's not a virus of an actual, like the way the scientists say viruses. Your virus, the coronavirus, is believing the lie. It's the belief system of the lie. It says, when thou art come into the land, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination. You know, these witches use divination. Or an observer of times, or an enchanter, which earlier we said enchantments. So songs that put you, like rock and roll or rap music. Rap music has a direct beat to keep you in a trance. That book I showed you the other day, Transformation of America, one of the main chapters in there is talking about music and how it puts you under a trance. You need to stop listening to all that evil music. It's witchcraft. It's enchantment. So it says, you shall not make your son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. So, for all that do these things are an abomination unto the Yah, and because of these abominations the Yah thy Yil doth drive them out before thee. He says, thou shalt be perfect with the Yah thy Yil. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearkened unto observers of time and unto diviners, but as for thee, the Yah thy Yil hath not suffered thee to do so. Yah's wanting you to be higher than witchcraft and lowly, dumb idiots under a spell. He wants you to be intelligent and have no confusion, and have no enchanters, and have no witches. He says, the Yah thy Yil will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken. So all these people who won't listen, don't believe in prophets, they say, oh, Ellen G. White was the last prophet. Or people say Ellen G. White was not a prophet. Or they say V.T. Houghton was not a prophet. Or William Miller was not a prophet. They don't believe that Yah sends his spokesperson for every generation, and they will not hear that spokesperson. This is what it's saying. So you need to hearken to this last message that we're giving to you. So let's go to Revelation 17, and it says that these 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So all these people who gave up their nations to give to this one world corona, the crown, the crowning moment, Satan is trying to impersonate Yah and say the whole earth belongs to him. But that's a lie. The earth belongs to Yah. His name is the Yah-Shah. So his children's name is the Yasharuns. Sharon is the word kingdom. Shah, the Shah of Iran is a king. So it's very important not to say Yeshua, because that's not the Shah. And you're not to say Yahweh, because the W is a Shah sound. You're under a rebellion. And rebellion is as witchcraft. I think that was, 1 Samuel 15:23. 1 Samuel 15:23 is telling you that if you won't listen to the Yah's word today in these last days before the kingdom is coming to rule over the whole world, if you won't listen to this message that we're giving you today because you don't think it's going to come through somebody who's stammering and not perfect on the outside, you have no idea because you're listening to witches. Okay, 1 Samuel 15:23 says, "For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Yah, he hath also rejected thee from being king." So rebellion is as witchcraft. And you can see why, because you're under this delusion that you don't have to follow the law, because all the churches said the law was abolished. But Yah says, I am the Yah, I change not. So he doesn't change his words. The only thing is now we have a high priest that's in heaven that we have to keep all the holy days when the high priest is in heaven. That's the study that we have, and we're getting ready to put out a document on that. So let's continue with Revelation. It's saying the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which gave their power. Then it says they have one mind. But then it says in verse 14, these shall make war with the Lamb. These kings and kingdoms are going to make war with the Lamb, because the Lamb's going to be here on the earth. And the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of Lords. That's why his name is Yah-Shah, because the Yah part is the Lord. He's the king. Yah means God. He's Lord. The Lord of Lords and King of Kings. So Shah, the Yah-Shah, means Lord of Lords and King of Kings. And it says, he's the Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So that stone that you saw in Daniel that hits the kingdoms, hits those 10-toed kings at the bottom to knock that image where the people are under this spell that these kingdoms are ruling over them, but really it's the Yah and it's his son. So they're both, he says, I come in my Father's name. They both have the same name. The Father's name is Yasha, the Son's name is Yasha, his children's name is Yasha. Yasharans. We are not Christians. We are not Baptists or, whatever. We are Yasharans. We have his name. Okay, so it says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multiples and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So first, all the kings give their power to have one mind with the whore. But then it says, they hate the whore and shall make her desolate, naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And if you look in verse 9, it says, of 18:9, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. The Catholic Church is coming down, folks. They're going to burn. It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment. Everybody's like, get back! Saying, alas, alas, that great city. What city? Babylon. What's Babylon mean? Confusion. Babbling. When people have an evil spirit, they babble and you don't know what they're saying. All this Pharmakeia and witchcraft and false doctrine, and when they try to spurt out that doctrine at you and you can't understand it, it's Babylon. It says, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. We ain't buying it. We ain't believing it anymore. You know when somebody says something and you go, I don't buy it. I don't buy what he's saying. That's a lie. That's what we're saying. We don't buy it anymore, that the Catholic Church is giving us all this false doctrine through the churches. You think, oh, well, I'm not Catholic. If you're a Seventh-day Adventist, you're a Catholic now. They took over. They have statues everywhere. They have false doctrine, the Trinity, the Eucharist. All their main doctrines come from the Catholic Church now. They changed it Ted Wilson, the other day, they asked him about the coronavirus, and he said, everybody just needs to remain calm. That's the very thing the FEMA training for pastors was telling these pastors, to keep their congregations calm while they go into these FEMA camps. Just stay calm, says Ted Wilson. It says, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odours and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour. They're in charge of it all. How do they turn it down? Turn it off. You go into the stores, oh, it's empty because of the virus. So they're controlling all this. They sell it all. Now, yeah, your local stores, they get it from the farmers, but they're controlling your ability to get it. The shelves are empty because they put so much fear in you. And wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. They sell you on the exchange. If you look at your birth certificate, there's red lettering numbers underneath, and those numbers go up in the stock market, and they sell souls of men. So, and they cast, okay, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. 18:21. And a mighty angel took up a stone that like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more. And the voice of the harpers and musicians and of pipers and of trumpeters shall be heard no more. So all these trumpeters, all these voices of their harpers, all their satanic hexes, all their doctrine, all their lies, all their media through television, they're giving you all this through CNN, ABC, NBC, and Fox News. This is all their television. This is all their lies and deceit and telling you that this is a virus. And every day you're hearing more people have the virus, more people have the virus. Yeah, because when they came in with a cold or a cough, you said, oh, don't test them. We don't have time to test them. They all have coronavirus. So it says, and the voice of the harpers, musicians, pipers, and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft, no witchcraft, no word craft. That's what they do when they talk to you on television. They craft their words and they pull it on a teleprompter to prompt you, to teleprompt you, to televise their false visions. They're crafty with their words. That's why they're newscasters. They cast their spell on you through witchcraft. They're newscasters. Okay. They shall no more at all, be heard no more at all in thee. This says that this media, which I read in their book of Vatican II, there's a chapter in there that talks about the media is the Vatican's friends, and they will use the media to tell the people. That's in Vatican II, 1969. It says, so they'll no longer be heard at all in thee, and no craftsman and whatsoever craft, so no witchcraft, shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. What does that mean? There's a millstone found in the Catholic Church? Yeah, folks, she's grinding out the wheat, the bread, and giving you false bread and making you take that little false bread, GMO bread, meaning their doctrine. They have a millstone giving you out false doctrine, and it's not going to be there anymore. You're not going to get lies anymore. And the light of a candle shall no more shine at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all. So all this stuff where they're giving you false doctrine won't be heard anymore. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by, here it is, folks. When you look up Pharmakeia, this word is it. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Do you get it? All nations are being deceived by their sorceries right now, by witchcraft, by wordcraft, by newscasts, casting spells on you. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and all that were slain upon the earth. Do you realize that that church killed prophets and does it still to this day? They kill them by not letting them be heard, not letting the truth of that woman grinding out the mill, because there's two women grinding out the mill. One is true and one is false. Woman in prophecy means a church. So here the Catholic Church is not going to have a millstone anymore. They're not going to be grinding out false doctrine, newscasting, witchcraft, the Eucharist, the Trinity, the what's the other one they have? Oh, the Incarnation. Those are three major millstone wheat doctrines that they're giving the people, and it's all from satanic torch of Satan. He's holding up that torch. He has this millstone. It's by sorceries. It says, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. All nations are deceived by sorcery right now. Come out of her, my people. May you be blessed by this message, and may you no longer believe in the sorcery called a virus. Thank you for listening.